push a little, misunderstood a little. We're all the same a little. Someone just wanna be bad. Not got him bad, bad.
Alrighty, it shows your tips, Daggy, with you to get stuck into PB Lawrence Stakes Day as well as Rosehill. A couple of big cards which I'm looking forward to talking about. Actually, quite a good betting should the tracks hold up on both. Just for those wondering, hopefully the Beaver's back next week. He's had a bit of a rough time of late with a bit on, but he should be back, he said, and ready and rearing to go for the spring. Let's get stuck into it. Caulfield first, PB Lawrence Stakes Day. Bit of mizzle around. Currently a soft track with the rail in the 9 metre position. I think the running line may end up being the place to be as the afternoon goes on. And we're going to kick off with an 1100 metre benchmark 74. And the favourite here, Verdoux, ran into a top horse last time out, which I tipped, in Pop Award, who we see go around a little bit later. I think this looks like the race for it gets a nice enough run in the running line, which, as I said, we're probably looking for. And if it's got the ability, before that it ran into Dirty Grin, nice horse as well. This looks like its race. So I'm going to put it on top. I'm actually going to make it the best of the day. On a day I struggle to really want to stamp anything. There's lots of horses I'm looking forward to seeing. But I'll make that best of the day. Verdoux to kick us off. Dangers. Epic Proportion. Back around to bend will improve. It's a big price. Behaviour was a nice win last time out. Now well into the Bedgegood stable. I think it can repeat some of what it does or did last time out with the track win. As well as, look, I'm scared of wherever Mickey D ends up in this race, as most people should be anytime he ends up in a race. The second is an 800 metre handicap where initially I was just going to pass this because it looked pretty disgusting, to be honest. But I've ended up putting Skipper's Canyon on top. It was a nice win on Australian debut for the Stokes Yard, 8 up the ground, and has some fair enough form from across the ditch. This race isn't very good. It's on top. Farnborough, I had made the main danger for the sake of finding one, but I didn't want to spend too much more time on it. We took on Federer, and I hope someone out there followed me in a little bit with something on Vega Magnifico. But again, I'm just not sure it's a real horse. Could win this, though, because it's not a real race. The third is a 1400 metre benchmark 78. And we've got a lovely Lonhro mare here at a price. Should it get a run in Kira? I thought it was a nice win last time out. It's found a bit of form this prep, now broken through, and at $15. Also, I'm going to put it on top off that Sandown win. Look, Gala Queen's got the Verdoux form. It was just a run last time out, I thought, and before that similar, when it's been heavily fancied. But no real knock on it. For me, the main danger, Bossy Bonita gets the absolute perfect run here, just behind Sassy Boom, so it's a live chance. So thoughts here, predominantly having something on Kira, and I will possibly save on Bossy Bonita, both at a reasonable enough price. The fourth is a benchmark 84, and look, we keep getting a decent price around Stylish. I'm going to keep taking it. We're going to get an each-way price tomorrow again, I think, and I'm going to be very happy to be with it. It's on top from Kappa 39, a great resumption. I'm a little bit spooked by the big SP in that race, but it's a horse I actually don't mind, and have had something on at a price a few times around. I'm sure if I'd backed it at that price and it won, I wouldn't be so spooked about it here, but it's coming off being 20 plus into starting favourite or equal favourite. Leaves me a little bit less enthusiastic for an early quaddie. I would say Porter's Trials were fine. We know what we get there as well. The fifth, we get into some of this early season 3-year-old races, and we get to see the 3-year-old boys and girls step out. First of all is the boys in the Vain Stakes, Group 3 level. Key lead up to some of the sprints as we now get towards the big stuff. And I've gone with Shining Smile on top. I just went in a tricky race, a very tricky race. I've gone with Shining Smile as the map horse with little confidence, but I think it gets just the tug along behind the leader here. And we'll just, which will be Shaggy, and I think we'll just leave the likes of Tycoon Star a little bit much to do. It's been put into some trials recently. Tycoon Star has a big finish. It's a horse I've fancied him some good races. Very interested to see it resume. And old JR, Jimmy Ricard, he will run well as well. Very good win last time out, and I'm excited to see where he stacks up. because I'm excited to have that song in my head for a good chunk of spring should he run well. The quaddie kicks off with the Quizette Stakes, which is for the 3-year-olds over the 1,100 metres, again at group level. And it was tricky for me to split these two unbeaten fillies. I've gone Scenic Point on top in what promises to be a pretty big day for the Hayes stable. Nice horse, feels a bit short at the current market point, but gets a right run. Hasn't really been tested that much. Both runs to date, nor has the Main Danger. The other one for the quaddie, Signature Scent. I've liked both its runs. That was a soft kill last time out. Wasn't knocked around in the trials. Comes here, and I think the point in the market is the place to be. Pretty happy to take on my Gladiola. I don't quite know what to make of those trials. They're revved up and could run well here, but gut is I'm a little bit against it. The 7th is a 1,200 metre Regal Roller Stakes here, a listed race, and look, Brudenell suddenly become quite an honest little conveyance, not so much a winning conveyance, but finds itself in a finish regularly now, and it's a horse I've always had an opinion of if you've followed the show over the years. Gets a great run, gate 2, gets Mark Zara, big trial win out wide at Gosford. I think's here to run well, and I really want to see how Pop Award shapes up. I think it's a nice horse in the making. It might want a bit further than this, but I think it can win a nice race somewhere along the line in the next couple of months. I'll have something on it as a saver. The feature's a cracker, absolute belter. Is the PB Lawrence Stakes 1,400 metre Group 2, sets us up for all the miles and 800 metre races to come in the months ahead. And I thought I'd just be ploughing into Private Eye with Nash down for one ride, saved from the wet the other week. Trials great. But I'm actually going to put Evaporate on top. I think this, by the end of spring, could be the new, I guess, banner bearer for the Hayes stable. This is a nice horse. Blake Shin's already said he's stapling himself to it. Now, trials were great. We put in up on pace in both of them. Very big win before it went out, and has tangled with the likes of Broadsiding and co. in the past. Look, fresh up record isn't the best, but I think there's a bit more intent here and a bit of intent to have this up and going and really make a statement this spring. So it's going to go on top and may end up being one of my favourite horses by the time we get through to the Cox Plate and such. Private Eye, Main Danger. I didn't really go looking for much outside of those two here. Shock's going to get the lead and tag or drag its Dave Met up there. And interesting to see how Sapals stacks up, but predominantly playing with Evaporate in this one. And we'll finish up with another perhaps Rockstar in rating in Revelare. Resumes here. Unbeaten last prep, was very good. Kicks off at a mile in a good race. By no means a walkover, but it did some very nice stuff. Overcame trouble and slow paces and all sorts of things. Last prep, I think it's here to run well again and hopefully produces its best from big dumbass Cafe Millennium, who'll be coming down the outside just to ruin everyone's day in the quaddie at the end there at $10. But Mickey D jumps on, gate 9 suits it, and will be steaming home and have a few people's hearts in their mouths should they not be on it. So it definitely goes into the quaddie, which I'll get to now. That's quick. The first leg is the Quizette, which I'll put in number 1, the Playwright, leading up there. 4, Scenic Point, 5, Blue Hotel, 6, Signature Scent. Second leg will go with 1, Arkansas Kid, 2, Brudenell, 4, Lose Some, Win More, who I'm simply tempted to oppose. 8, Royal Signature, and 10, Pop Award. Next leg, Private Eye, number 1. Number 6, Evaporate, and 7, Sapals. Last leg will come home with 7, Cafe Millennium, 11, Revelare, and 12, Too Darn Discreet off the nice win last time out. $100 gets you over half, about 56% of that quaddie. Obviously, you probably want to split there for it to be worth our while. My best on the card will go early. Verdoux, race 1 at number 11. The Hayes stable's in for a fat one, so don't leave them out of any of your thoughts. Value, race 7, number 2, Brudenell, as we head up to Rosehill, where we've got a heavy 10 track with Cops and Rain in Western Sydney of late. Rails in the 1 metre. It's going to be last man standing, running line sort of stuff, I suspect. But the track held up okay when I thought it had no chance a couple of weeks ago. who would want to be moving all their feature races to Randwick from it. But anyway, we kick off with a 1,500 metre benchmark 72. And I can't say I actually started with Rosehill and I nearly chucked it in before I began kicking off with this. Can't say I'm enamoured here. With the midway, I'm going to put Makana on top for the sake of a tip. The obvious lead up, I suppose, but when Cold Brew sits wide the whole way, brains them, you leave a little bit concerned coming out of that. But I have put on top, I think Mogwai, coming back off a proper metro race, has to run well. It sat wide, now gets a real nice run. Probably leaders back for Tommy Berry. Double figures, I think, keep it in your thoughts. They're the two I'll mention. And we'll move on to the highway, which is a 1,300 metre affair this time out. And this is shit. This is a pretty ordinary race, a lot of Dubbo and Bathurst form. So a couple I'll look at will be, well, firstly, and this horse can draw gate 1, Adolphus. Should get a great run, tagging along inside and also either leading or leaders back. It has led one of these races up before. And Trials are okay. Has some proper strong highway form. Probably should have won one of these along the way. So I'm going to put it on top. I think it's a very, very winnable race here. And then I'd be looking at a couple at a price to maybe get an exotics result here. Walls Angel, should it get a run? Scopics, Light Infantry are all 15, 20s, 30s. And they're all better than what most of these horses are actually doing. So they're the three I might even play a trifecta round for a small outlay to get somewhat decent result. Not much else I want to talk about this. I thought Cranach maybe half turn it up last time it was at the races. We'll move on. 3-year-old race is up next. Very interesting one. 1,300 metre benchmark 72. And Ninja absolutely demolished not much last time out, but was very impressive in doing so. Gets the lead here. And perhaps begrudgingly, I'm going to put it on top. I think it'll run very well. I went looking for Space Rider, a horse I had an opinion of when it went to Queensland last time out. Trials showed pace in the trials, but I thought it was a little weak at the back end of them. So taking it on, I'm going to make Without Peer the last start winner, the main danger to this leader, Ninja. That's about the race for me. The fourth is a benchmark 78 with where are we at here? 1,400 metres, and I'm just looking at the scratchings that have come out since I've looked at this. Look, Amakira did a great job last time out. Overcame the bias at Canterbury and reeled in a runaway leader. And I think it's a nice horse. I'm going to put it on top. Main danger is Tuileries, who wasn't ridden particularly well last time out, but perhaps also, still didn't run down User Pin and a few of those horses. So maybe the rose is off the bloom a little bit with that one. So going to stick with Amrakia on top. And try and be a bit bullish about that, should it. I think they're the two, and I think it can get the job done. Fifth is a very interesting small field Rosebud as we get on the path to the Golden Rose. A listed race here, a couple of slipper horses returning, and Peloton absolutely ate up the wet ground in a couple of trials. I think it just gets a camp on Blitzberg, who'll lead, and will be in the finish. I think it's a nice horse from a nice stable. So it's on top. Very interested to see Skyhook come back. Very interested to see Blitzberg come back. Very interested to see even Nashfield Jack roll up again. So I can't say I'm super bullish, but for the sake of the tip and what we do here, I'll put Peloton on top. The sixth is what do we got here? A handicap, 1,900 metres. Sorry, benchmark 78. Amusing on top for me. We're getting an each-way price off a last start winner at the track in the similar conditions. J-Max sticks. I think it's going to be very hard to beat because I think there's a tail here and it's mapped beautifully, or should be mapped beautifully if J-Max goes forward. Only has to run a 1,900 metres. It is a query, but should it do so, I think it's a great bet here. At around the $5 or $6 mark. Hasty Honey is a bit of a job to do from the gate, but has done nothing wrong. Bar getting nabbed late last time out, has come back in great form. So it will make it the main danger in a race that the less I talk about, the better. Excuse me. The seventh kicks off the quaddie 1,400 metre as I regurgitate that flight. Race 7, it kicks off the quaddie, 1,400 metre 3-year-old plus handicap. And there's a lot of resumers in here, and I feel like a bit of a sap for doing so, but I've actually put Birdman on top. Now having had a year with Chris Waller, I thought it showed some nice pace in both trials. Resuming here, I think it's going to come back a bit of a different horse to the one we saw last time out, and it's on top, J-Max Sticks. We'll put it there. The fit and honest 1,400 metre horse that's going to have all the other stays in a bit of trouble is War Eternal. So maybe the common sense play for Collet in the wet. But for better or worse, I'm going to put Birdman on top to kick off the quaddie. Race 8, 1,400 metre benchmark 78, and Punton was done in by all the horses outside it last time out when they all got to the outside fence. It still ran quite well. 3 weeks back to 1,400 metres where it's unbeaten is a tick. I'd suggest they've not done much with it since and just let it freshen up. I think it'll run well here, sitting either 1-1 or outside lead, because I assume Fully Lit will punch up underneath it. It'll improve off last start. From Denman Star, good luck to Johnny and Blocky and a few of the boys in that. Here to run a race. Unfortunately, Zach Lloyd, when he was there to run a race last time out, missed the bus, but I think we'll improve here. Anaropa takes a bit of relief off. It's the main danger in this one. And the 9th is a benchmark 78, second last on the card. And the wet's never really ideal for a horse first up, but I think this gets through the conditions quite well. It could be a nice horse, Rosalind Star. Trials were good, three of them. Should have it well forward for this map. Slight concern, just needs to find a little bit of cover. I'm going to put it on top from Polyglot, who is now with the Freedman Yard. And I think a lot of these Godolphin horses in new yards are going to be wound up. There'll be some trainers with some points to prove. And I think this will be ready to go fresh. So I'm going to make it the main danger. Again, we found McDonald. And in fact, the market says it's favourite. So haven't really gone out on too much of a limb there, but it is there as the main danger for me, at least. And let's wrap up. I've got to throw one out here at a price for the day, and I'm going to make that Lulumon. I think it's a crazy price at $35. It was hard fit, ducked up the inside last time out, which may not have been the A ground. For a moment there, got excited that it was going to just sneak home, but wasn't to be. I think it's just been forgotten. We'll have map against it, but a last man standing sort of setup late at Rosehill, 30s or 40s. Why not find out? So it's on top. Perfumist has trialled great. Just kept winning last time out. It's back and ready to go. And Bunker Hut, same. Resumed nicely. We know what we get. It's been always runs well in these sort of races, and will continue to do so. My best on the card at Rosehill in a tricky setup. I'm going to make it race 6, number 14, Amusing. Blue colours there. And my value in the last, race 10, number 16, Lulumon. I'll give you a quaddie, actually. First leg, 4, which is Birdman. 7, which is War Eternal. And 12, which is State of America. Heavy track. A few things against, but nice horse and at a price. Second leg, 5, Punton. 8, Hanau. 9, Oziggy. 10, Captain Furai, and 12, Denny. Third leg, 4, Rosalind Star. 7, Polyglot, and 8, Regimental Colours. And we'll come home in a tricky finish with 3, Disneck. 6, Cloudland. 7, Geriatrics. 10, Bunker Hut. 12, Perfumist. 13, Lord Penman. 16, Lulumon. We'll lose some of those with scratchings, I'm sure, but $100 will get you about a third of that. And if we get a couple at value, might be well worthwhile. That's it. Show us your tips. PB Lawrence Stakes, spring racing's here. Very excited. The Beaver's going to be back next week, and we'll get really stuck into some good racing as we plough on. Thanks, guys. Talk soon.